Welcome to another deep dive with us. This time we're tackling a question that's been making waves in the art world.
Yeah.
Can a robot really be an artist?
Yeah, it's a fascinating question. And to really dig into it, we're going to be looking at a very specific case, the case of Ida, billed as, get this, the world's first robot artist.
IDAN. Okay, so right off the bat, I gotta ask, what makes IDA so special? I mean, we've got robots doing all sorts of things these days, but
Right.
I'm not picturing like my Roomba suddenly churning out masterpieces.
No, not quite like that. Ida is way more complex. See, she's a humanoid robot specifically designed to actually look and act like an artist.
Oh, okay, so we're talking like,
She's got cameras for eyes,
okay.
so she can see the world, and she even uses a robotic arm to create her art.
Wow, so hold on, I gotta visualize this. She's got eyes, she's got an arm. So how does she go from seeing to creating? Is she like sitting there in a tiny beret contemplating a canvas?
I love that image. But her process is a bit more high-tech than that. It's all about artificial intelligence. ID uses algorithms, basically sets of rules, to analyze images and get ideas from what she sees. Then she translates those ideas into actual art.
So she's not just copying, she's actually processing and coming up with original ideas.
Exactly.
Okay, color me intrigued. So what kind of art are we talking here? Like, is she a one-trick pony? Yeah. Sticking to one style, one medium?
That's what's really wild. She's incredibly versatile. We're talking drawings, paintings, sculptures. She even writes poetry.
No way. Robot poetry.
Yeah. And some of it's pretty profound, makes you think. Like one of your lines is, I am not alive, but I can create.
Whoa. That's deep, especially coming from, a robot.
Yeah.
I mean, it already has me thinking about what it really means to be creative. Like, do you have to be conscious to create art?
And that is precisely what makes Ida so fascinating. She's pushing us to examine those fundamental questions about art and creativity. And it gets even more complex when you consider this. Sometimes Ida collaborates with human artists on pieces.
Okay, wait, now that really throws a wrench into things.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a human in the mix, is it truly robot art? Who gets the credit? Or the criticism?
Right. It's a huge debate in the art world right now. Some critics are totally captivated by Ida's work. They see it as a sign of how art will evolve in this digital age, It's forcing them to rethink what art even is and how we value it.
It's like she's a glimpse into the future of art, where technology plays a much bigger role.
Exactly. But of course, not everyone's on board the robot art train just yet. There are plenty of critics who are skeptical. Like, can AI-generated art really be original? Can it have the same depth and meaning as human art?
Yeah, I get that. We humans, we associate art with emotions, with our experiences, that spark of consciousness. Can an algorithm really capture that?
Right. Some folks say that without those human elements, it's just a technical exercise, not true artistic expression. In fact, I saw a quote where The Guardian described Ida as, get this, a sort of sex doll with electric whips for arms.
Oh, wow, okay. That's quite a visual. I guess you can't please everyone, especially when you're disrupting things the way IDA is. So let's circle back to the core question. What sets human art apart? I mean,
It's a big one.
if IDA can create something visually stunning, maybe even thought-provoking, what makes it different from a painting by a human, standing there with a brush in hand?
Well, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing apples and oranges. Human artists, they draw inspiration from emotions, life experiences, their intentions, their choices. Ida, on the other hand, she's operating within the boundaries of her programming, her algorithms.
So can we even judge them by the same
Yeah.
standards?
That's the million-dollar question, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. While Ida's bound by her programming, she's also making us consider, what if AI has a totally different kind of creativity, one that we haven't even wrapped our heads around yet?
Okay, now my brain is officially doing backflips. This isn't just about robots making art. It's about questioning our entire understanding of creativity, where it comes from, what it even means. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, right?
You got it.
Because IDA is about to make a pretty big splash in a whole new arena of the art market.
Oh yeah, things are about to get interesting.
Tell me everything.
One of her portraits, titled AI God, which features, by the way, the famous computer scientist Alan Turing, is going up for auction at Sotheby's.
Oh, Sotheby's.
Yeah.
That's like the big leagues. So this is a major moment, right? It's like AI art officially entering the mainstream art world.
Big time. But with that, of course, comes a whole new set of questions. Legal questions, ethical questions.
Right, like if AI God sells for a fortune, who owns the rights to it? IDA,
Oh.
her creators.
Exactly. And how do our copyright laws, which were designed for humans, even apply to something like IDA, who isn't a legal entity?
This is getting complicated.
Oh, yeah. We've barely scratched the surface here. There's so much more to unravel. Welcome back. I hope you've had a chance to let all that sink in about IDA and what we think about creativity, because now we're going to get philosophical.
All right, let's do it. My mind is already kind of blown from that first part. IDA really is making us ask some big questions, like
Yeah.
how do we even define creativity when a robot's in the picture?
That's the thing about AI art. It throws everything we thought we knew up in the air. For centuries, we've seen creativity as a human thing, something unique to us. But IDA's work is making us rethink that whole idea.
So are we saying that every time an algorithm generates something new, it's being creative?
That's what philosophers are arguing about right now. Some
Yeah.
say, no way, true creativity needs consciousness. It needs intention, an understanding of the world, personal experience, all the things AI doesn't have.
So from that perspective, II Day's art is more like a really advanced trick, like a super complex form of mimicry, not real artistic expression.
That's one way to look at it. But some folks say creativity is about the process, not just the final product. So if an AI can generate something new and interesting, does it really matter if it's conscious?
So maybe it's like watching a magic trick. We're amazed by it, even though we know there's a method behind it.
Exactly. Good analogy. It takes the focus away from what's going on inside the creator's head and puts it on the impact the work has on us, the viewers. And this brings us to another interesting question. Can an AI ever understand art the way humans do? Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a good point. We connect with art on an emotional level. It's tied to our own lives, our values, our culture. Can an AI, even one as advanced as IDA, get all that?
It makes you wonder, is there a difference between creating art that's full of human meaning and just creating patterns, even if those patterns are complex?
Yeah, it's like there's something missing, that spark of human connection that makes art really resonate.
Exactly. Human art is packed with symbolism, with commentary, with personal experiences. It's hard to imagine an AI capturing all of that.
Right. A human artist might pour their heartbreak into a painting, or their anger about something happening in the world. Can we expect that kind of emotional depth from an AI?
It's a big question, and it's one of the main reasons people are skeptical of AI art. But some folks argue that how a viewer interprets a piece is what gives it meaning, regardless of the creator's intent.
So even if IDA isn't putting deep meaning into her work consciously, people viewing her art might still have strong reactions to it, think about things in new ways because of it.
Precisely. It becomes a dance between the creator and the audience, with the art as the connection between them. And with AI art, that connection might be even more complex and thought-provoking because we're dealing with a non-human creator.
I'm seeing how many layers there are to this. And we haven't even gotten into the ethical stuff yet. This is getting pretty deep.
It really is. And those ethical considerations are so important as AI art becomes more common. We've already touched on copyright and who owns what. Legally, who owns a piece of art created by an AI?
It's a tough one, right? Our laws about copyright were made with human creators in mind. How do they work with something like Ida, who isn't even considered a legal person?
Right. And beyond the legal stuff, there are even deeper ethical issues about exploitation and authenticity.
Like if Ida's learning from tons of existing art, is she really creating something new? Or is it just a really fancy copycat?
That's the concern,
Mhm.
that AI art could devalue human creativity, that it could lead to a ton of unoriginal stuff that's just rehashing what's already been done.
And this is the whole issue of transparency, too. What if people don't know a piece was made by an AI? Could they be tricked?
Absolutely, especially if the creators aren't upfront about the AI involved. We need clear ethical guidelines, ways to be transparent in this whole field.
It seems like we need a whole new system for how we understand and manage AI art. One that protects human artists, make sure things are being developed ethically, and make sure the public is informed and can appreciate AI art for what it is.
I think that's spot on, and this is a conversation that needs to involve everyone, not just the tech people, but artists, ethicists, legal experts, the public, everyone, because AI art is raising questions that affect all of us.
This brings up another big worry I've heard about. What happens to human artists when AI can create art faster, cheaper, maybe even with more technical skill?
It's a question a lot of people in the art world are wrestling with. Some are afraid AI will push human artists out completely, while others see AI as a tool, something that can enhance human creativity, help artists explore new things.
It feels like we're at a crossroads. We need to decide how we want this technology to shape the future of art. Do we see it as a partner or a threat?
And that's a decision we've got to make together. It might not be a simple answer either. Because the truth is, AI art is here. It's making us face big questions about what creativity is, who owns what, what's authentic, what the future of art even looks like.
Wow, this has been mind-blowing. I'm really excited to see where we go on the last part.
Yeah, in part 3, we're going to step back and look at the really big picture. What does the rise of AI art mean for the future of art and humanity?
Welcome back. We've covered so much ground, from how IDE actually works to the philosophical rabbit holes she sends us down. And of course, those big ethical questions. Now, let's step back. Look at the big picture. What does the rise of AI art, like what we see with IDE, mean for the future?
It's been a wild ride, right? And when we take all those threads, all those ideas, and weave them together, I think one of the biggest things we see is this. AI is changing how we define creativity, period. We can't hold on to those old ideas of what an artist is, what art should be. The lines are getting blurry.
It's like ideas holding up this mirror, making us ask, what makes human art so special? Is it just the finished product, the artwork itself? Or is it something more, something about being human that an algorithm can never copy?
That's it. And while we've talked about the concerns, copyright, ethics, what this means for human artists, there's this whole other side to it. AI art could bring some really positive changes.
Right. We talked about AI as a tool for artists, opening up new ways to create that we haven't even thought of yet.
Imagine a world where anyone, even if they've never had art lessons, could use AI to express themselves visually, create art experiences that are totally unique, explore new creative paths. AI could be like a new kind of brush, boosting human creativity instead of replacing it.
Almost like it's making art more democratic, giving anyone with an idea and the right tools the power to create. That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
And don't forget how powerful AI art can be in starting important conversations, challenging what we think is normal. ID's work, just as one example, has made people debate the role of technology, what consciousness really is, even what it means to be human.
It reminds us that art have always had this ability to push the boundaries, make us question things, see the world in new ways. AI art just adds another layer of complexity to all that.
And as AI art keeps evolving, it's going to become more and more a part of our lives. It'll be everywhere, influencing advertising, entertainment, education, even social movements.
Wow, that's exciting, but also a little scary at the same time, huh? So where does this leave our listeners, the folks who joined us for this deep dive? What should they walk away with?
I'd say keep an open mind about this whole world of AI art. Be curious. Ask those tough questions about ownership, ethics, what creativity even means anymore.
Exactly. This isn't just a conversation for tech people or art critics. This is something we all need to be a part of shaping.
And this isn't just robots making pretty pictures. It's about how AI is changing how we see ourselves as humans, how we understand creativity, how we interact with the world around us.
I love that. Well, folks, this wraps up our deep dive into the fascinating world of AI art. I hope you've learned something new and that you'll keep exploring this ever-changing field.
I'll leave you with one last thought to chew on. If AI can make art that starts debates, makes us question things, and forces us to rethink our place in the universe, what does that tell us about the future of art and the future of humanity itself?
That is a powerful question to end on, something we'll all be thinking about as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep creating.